Okay, so good afternoon, class. Our topic for today is week 8 in your LMS, which is the SWOT analysis. So we are going to discuss here about how the SWOT analysis will help the business in making decisions towards towards the strategies for the improvement of their business performance. Okay, so our learning objectives here is to define what is SWOT analysis, to identify the uses of SWOT analysis, and to understand the benefits and limitation of the SWOT analysis. So what is the SWOT analysis? The SWOT analysis, the acronym SWOT, is the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So a SWOT analysis is the compilation of those acronyms which can use for the decision making of the business. And this SWOT analysis is used to analyze the internal and external resources of the business in order to compete with the competition, and even to provide strategies that can be useful and might be distinctive from among the competition. That's why we have to know the strength of the company, the weakness of the company, even the opportunity from the competition, and the threats. A SWOT analysis also can be carried out about the company's product, place, industry, or a person, because the SWOT analysis also involves what are the particular goals or the objectives of the business towards the project, and identify the internal and external factors which are unfavorable and favorable in order to achieve the objectives. So as I had said, that SWOT analysis is used for decision making. It's about how we analyze or scan the business resources. So the SWOT analysis composed of the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. The strength are the characteristics of the business project that will take advantage from among the competition. The weaknesses, those are the characteristics of the business that might be disadvantageous, or the competitor or the competition will be ahead to your business. The opportunities, these are also the elements of the environment, and this is the external, in order to identify some of the advantages from the competition. So let's say what is the weakness of your competitor that will serve as an opportunity in order to make distinctive. And the threat, this is the element of the environment that can cause trouble to a business project, where this is the strength of the competitor which can take advantage to the business. Okay. And this SWOT analysis rather is the first thing in the strategic management, where before we formulate a strategies and establishing a plan, we have to analyze the resources of the business, internal and external, so we can know the status of the business and what particular plans or actions that can we go through in order to meet the objectives. Okay, so corporate planning is the next step for strategic management. So after we identify the internal and external environment and even the resources as well, it's time also to establish a plan, a set of activities, rather, a set of activities on how we're going to achieve the objectives, and what particular strategies that can be put based on the SWOT analysis. This corporate planning has a lot of methods or ways to establish an activities that will push through to take in order to achieve the objectives. That's why, as part of the corporate planning, alongside with the SWOT, also the PEST or the PESTEL, when we say PEST, it talks about political, economic, sociocultural, and technological, because this PEST is also the basis for analysis of the business and even the environmental factors. So after part of the corporate planning is to set an objectives. So we have to identify what is the purpose of the existence of the business and what is the direction that of the business want to go through or what to do. And after we set the objective as part of the corporate planning is to do some environmental scanning. So in the environmental scanning, we have also to to assess and evaluate all the resources that we needed. So in order to analyze the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Okay, and also through that, we can analyze what particular strategies that we can use, which is relevant for the internal and external environment after we use to scan the environment. Okay, so after that, we have to define or the strategy that we need to use. From those key factors, from the plan that we do, what are those strategies or methods on how this plan can put into action? And of course, we can also use to develop a new strategy or to revise the existing strategy in order to meet the objectives. Because take note that the plan should be also in the long term, but the plan should be flexible to adapt some changes, because for whatever the plan that we establish, as I've said, it should be flexible because time is changing and there are some situations which are unexpected. That's why a plan also has an alternatives. That's why if we create a plan, it's not only a plan A, but plan B, plan C, plan D that will base on the actual situation. There are a lot of alternatives that we can put, okay? And of course, establish the critical success factors. So from the plan or strategies that we use or to do, we can set an implementation by establishing a program, okay, a budget, and a time frame on when these plans are going to finish by proper implementation. And as part of the implementation, we have to prepare, of course, the operational resources or the project plan as part of the implementation is the budget, the program, and the time frame on when these plans are going to finish or to do. And of course, monitoring the results. Once we implement the plans, we have to do such a mapping where we have to evaluate those plans and strategies if we achieve the objectives. So part of the monitoring result is the evaluation and controlling, which to establish a standards, a key performance indicators about if the plans are achieved or effective, and measuring the actual performance versus the plan. If the standards are met, the plans are met, and if there are some mistakes or errors, we have to correct it. Okay, so what are those SWOT analysis in marketing? So in marketing, we can also use the SWOT analysis in order to analyze the competition, the competitor, and even the status of the products. That's why marketing managers, this is a way or a thing that we use to examine the cost structure, the sources of profits, and other resources, and even the competencies of their competitors by using this SWOT analysis to identify the competency of the competitor and even the business as well. Okay, so what are those marketers' techniques to conduct a research, okay, when it comes to SWOT analysis? Of course, we use the qualitative marketing research, such as the focus groups say qualitative, we have to conduct a study about the opinion or the actual response of the customers, so we can relate on what opinion what that can be getting through to meet the satisfaction of the needs of the customers or the markets rather. Quantitative research also used by using mathematical methods. We don't need only the perceptions, but also we need a mathematical procedure that also quantify and use for decision making. And even experimental techniques, just like a market testing, because if we have the products or the services that we segment, that we have to test the market by the actual testing of the product and getting their feedbacks for the improvement. And even observational techniques such as the on-site observation, and also the marketing managers may create a design and oversee some of the competitive intelligence process and environmental scanning to identify the trends, okay, and inform the company's marketing analysis towards the competition or the competitor and the product itself. So this is the example of the SWOT analysis matrix template. Actually, there are a lot of templates on how to conduct the SWOT analysis. So of course, this is the basic skeleton of the template of SWOT analysis in using in marketing, what the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats of a particular business. That the strength and weaknesses are the internal environment, that in order to identify the distinct competency of the business itself, while the opportunities and threats are the external environment in which how the business can interact through in the competition. So how they can use the competency towards the competition. So of course, the SWOT analysis not can only be used in marketing, but SWOT analysis also used in the community organization, regardless if the community organization is a profitable or non-profitable. Because this analysis is used to identify the areas of concerns that we need to address and how to resolve those concerns by establishing a decision-making. Because we cannot make a decision-making or establish a plan or strategies without analyzing the environment. Because this SWOT analysis is also the organizational tool that can be used for collaboration of the community members towards emerging the goals and objectives and implementing the program design and organizing the strategy. So this is the template for the SWOT analysis for community organization, regardless if it is a profitable or non-profitable. So this is the matrix of a quadrant matrix, which the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. On the quadrant 1, opportunity and strength. Okay. So for the opportunities and strength, if you combine the opportunity and strength, you can establish an opportunity strength strategies. And that's the quadrant 1. And the quadrant 2 is the opportunity and weakness strategies. So you can also identify the weaknesses and the strategy and the opportunities, and what strategies can be used to address the weakness and opportunity. On the quadrant 3, the threat and the strength. So from the threat and strengths, what particular strategies are we going to use or establish to address the concerns on the strength threats? And in the quadrant 4, the threats and weaknesses, because first we have to identify the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats of the organization, and let's do this quadrant for the particular strategies of the board with a combination of this SWOT: the opportunity strength, opportunity weaknesses, threat strength, and threat weaknesses. We can also use this also kind of template, which the internal is the strength and weakness, and the external are the opportunity and threats. Okay, so based on the template, so the strength and weaknesses, these are the internal factors within the organization, as I said earlier, that we have to identify the resources of the organization or the business in order to identify their competency. And part of the internal factors are the following: the strength and weaknesses. The human resources, it talks about the manpower needed in the organization, the physical resources such as of course, the factors of production, or shall we say the equipment, building, and location, the financial resources, those are the funds and budgets, activities and process, what are the programs that can be used, okay, and what systems to employ in the business, and even the past experience also, that also building blocks for learning and success, or what are those building blocks that can be used for learning for the improvement, okay? Okay, so the opportunities and threats, those are the external factors when it comes to stemming the community or societal forces in which the competition. And what are those external environment or the factors? The trends, okay? What are the future trends that we need to adapt so nobody can let behind? The economy, of course, what is the effect of our strategies or plans of the economy, even our funding resources, demographics to whom which we create the program and will benefit of it, and even the physical environment, okay, as part of the opportunities and threats, and also the legislation. So what are particular laws or policies, government policies that we use to comply or a governance, even the national, local, and international events. So please take note that the SWOT analysis is originally designed as an organizational method for business in industries. But the SWOT analysis is also used in the community work that can be replicated to identify the external and internal support in order to combat the internal and external opposition. Because this, if we talk about the SWOT analysis, it is used for the businesses, but we can now use for the community or the nonprofit. So in order to identify the areas of concern that they need to resolve with the corresponding objectives, even though there are no proceeds, or shall we say there will be no profit, but there will be a proceeds for the purpose of why they're existing. The SWOT analysis is necessary to provide a direction, of course, to the next stage of the changing process. Okay, and the SWOT analysis is utilized by the community organizers and community members to further the social justice in the context of social work practices. Okay, so that is the use of the SWOT analysis. But in business analytics, because we used to convert the data into information, we can also use this SWOT analysis on how to establish the plans on to create a program that can be convert the data into an information. Just like the last time we discussed about the data mining, and we're going to discuss the process mining in the latter, because we are on the technological side. So what are the steps for implementation? So how do we implement the SWOT analysis? But please take note, in strategic management, after we do the SWOT analysis, okay, it's time to do the corporate planning, but we have to identify what will be our objectives, the set of activities or plans that we can use to achieve the objectives, and what are those strategies that can be used. And then we have to create an evaluation and assessment for the progress of the plan that we choose, if this will help to achieve the objectives. But please take note, what are the following steps on implementation. So it should be, of course, the SWOT analysis is done by the group It cannot be done by individual. It can be done in a form of a group because this is a group work. We need a collaboration and a brainstorming of the people in the organization or in a group. That's how we implement that. And one way to facilitate the development of SWOT analysis, we need also this into a larger group. So for each group, there should be a clusters. And for each clusters, you have to brainstorm the SWOT. And after we SWOT that, we can collaborate with the other group until we reunite as one. Okay? And this allows for the individuals who may be silenced in a larger group setting, which the individuals can contribute something. And a SWOT meeting allows participants to create a creative brainstorm that will use as the contribution to the inputs, okay, and that will also help to strategize solutions. But please take note that there's always a limitations when it comes to contributions, okay? So when to use the SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis can explore new solutions to the problems. Yes, because you cannot solve a problem without analyzing a lot of things. Because in order to solve a problem or an issue, we have to analyze the situation and look forward on the situation so we can identify plans on how to solve the issues. The SWOT analysis identify the barriers that will limit the goals and objectives. Yes. Because if we set a goals and objectives, it should be a long term and it should be specific. But we should not going beyond the boundaries when we go to, because if we do that, we cannot achieve what the objectives that we want to achieve. Another is to decide on direction what will be the most effective. And the SWOT analysis revealed the possibilities and limitations for a change. And also the SWOT analysis, it will help to revise the plans in order to navigate the systems, communities, and organizations. Because as I've said earlier, that the plans should have an alternative and flexible to adapt some changes. Because if the situation, because the plans can be changed based on the actual situation, that's why there are a lot of contingency plans. And SWOT analysis also can be used as a brainstorming and recording device as a means of communication. And SWOT analysis also it will enhance the credibility of interpretation that can be used to the leaders or key supporters. Okay, so what are the benefits of SWOT analysis? So all of the organization is doing this thing, and because it will there is a benefit of conducting it. First, SWOT analysis also help for decision making and to give direction in the organization by establish unachievable goals and objectives. And also it is also a steps to the social change or community development. The SWOT analysis also enables the organizers, the people, to take the vision and mission, or to establish the vision and mission to accomplish, and what particular outcomes that they want to establish for a better and for a change. And of course, SWOT analysis also is useful a process to the consideration of the key organizational objectives, okay, for whatever the objectives that we want to achieve. But please take note that SWOT analysis has its limitations. So SWOT analysis also critiques that it can be lead to misrepresentation of the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. Because sometimes people commit mistakes. That's why there's a limitation. But anyway, this analysis is a human made, so we cannot say that this is a perfect one, but it can help. Okay, we cannot guarantee it is a 100% accurate, but it will help. Actually, the SWOT analysis is a classical theory which established in strategic management and is still used by the organization. Even though there are a lot of recent contributors that revise the SWOT analysis model, but still the content and the essence of it is in there. Another limitation of the SWOT analysis is to what? It's about to defend the precise the decided goals and objectives previously, because you know the limitations that if we establish the goals and objectives, we have to achieve it first, because there are times that the goals and objectives which are not yet met, we have to change it. No, it's not that, because if you establish goals and objectives and if you already achieve it, that was the time to change your vision or your goals. You cannot change your vision or goals for as long as you did not achieve yet. And that's why in achieving the goals, you must set a time frame on when these goals had been met in order to move forward to the next goal or objectives to achieve. And the limitations of the SWOT analysis is the misuse of it to the best interest, of course, of the people. Sometimes the limitation of this is for the personal interest, but what we call this, we have to consider utilitarian or the public interest. And also one of the limitations is the design of the SWOT analysis by one or two community workers is limiting to the realities of the forces. Of course, because there are times that SWOT analysis is just only a perception without seeing the actual situation. That's why it's a limitation. But in order that the SWOT analysis to be effective, we have to, of course, to get outside of the company and look for the real scenario or situation that's is going on in order to identify the issues of the areas of concerns that we need to address and how to solve those concerns. We take note that we are tackling it not only on the part of the profitable business and even the non-profitable as well, because we talk about community and also the side of the business. Okay, so to end up the discussion, that SWOT analysis is originally used by the business or profitable organization, but it is also applied to the community or the public interest in order use this kind of analysis to address the areas of concern and how to solve it. So that is our topic for today.